Hey guys, this is Greg Hasty with CFN Media. We're here today at the Canner Global Cannbrunch in New York City for 2018 to talk to some industry leaders as well as some high net worth investors in the cannabis space. Let's go see what they've got. Just had your panel. How'd everything go?
Fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you were speaking to?
Primarily what we'd like to address is the fragmentation of the market and how our product will help bring clarity and full free market access to a fragmented market. We'll defragment the market and allow capitalism, natural forces of capitalism, to flow inside the marketplace.
Interesting. So tell me a little bit about CanIdeal and what you guys are doing.
CanIdeal is a digital e-commerce marketplace for the B2B cannabis industry. We cater to both the THC side as well as the non-THC side of the product. So we carry everything. Both seeds, sale, the cannabis, CBDs, and soil, lights, whatever, whatever's in the industry, including Jimi Hendrix black light posters if people still want to buy them.
They're extremely vertically integrated.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What brought you into the space?
Well, I'm sort of a serial creator, so I like to say. I create both movies and companies. So I'm a produced Hollywood screenwriter of 4 films that I've done in Hollywood. And along the ways I've launched a couple of companies as well. One being Cafe.com, which was the sole provider of Denny's wireless internet. So we had an exclusive. We built Denny's wireless internet and helped define the fast casual market there before we sold that off to a publicly traded company, successful exit. And then I also helped a friend start a flower essence company called Cita Flowers. And it came to me as an idea from a friend who makes some cool flower essences in Southern California. And now it's a well-branded item inside of Whole Foods, all of the Sprouts across America, and all the vitamin shops in America. So I like to create things, and then after that I did a movie for Millennium Entertainment, a major studio called Spiders. It was a fairly big budget thing, and it was a cool experiment in making a 3D film. So coming off of that, I met a producer who also had a business brokering legal cannabis. His phone was always blowing up. Text messages, phone calls, emails, impossible to get a hold of the guy, right?
Very popular.
Right, very popular because he's brokering cannabis, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I was thinking to myself, well, we've been medical in California for over 10 years. Isn't there software for doing this stuff yet?
Yeah.
And he said no, and I went, you're kidding me.
Crazy, right?
And now it's 2018, and there's still not software.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
One of the major things that we had to handle, though, before we even started, was how do we stay legal? Right. Fortunately, very lucky, I have an uncle who worked at Bell Labs on the project that took voice, turned it into digital packets, and put it along the fiber optic cable across the United States. And I spoke to him. I said, listen, Uncle Al, can I do this? And the long and the short after a half an hour of Uncle Al was yes.
A 3-minute conversation.
And then I turned to my cousin, his son, who is a former head stub equity trader at Credit Suisse and has his own businesses, and I said, it's a $20 billion market, and having a chunk of that market wouldn't be a bad idea.
Not at all.
He says, it might not be a bad idea. So maybe I'll just go ahead and do this then.
Yeah. So how long ago did you get started in this?
We started...
Because if it was still medical when you were looking into it, this had to have been, what, like 2010-ish?
No. We started 2016.
Oh, okay.
And we went offshore for initial development. Didn't like what we saw out of the Indian marketplace as well, as far as building a well-branded markets. So what we then did was we contracted a group in Brooklyn called Campus on Fire. They actually that year in 2017 won the Info e-commerce award of the year for their Savio Pro e-commerce engine. So they're experts at building e-commerce platforms. We also contracted with Lou Studios, who does branding for Fortune 100 companies. And since we're going to do this, we're saying, look, this is a corporate entity we're building. This isn't, you know, the Wild West of the old cannabis business. We're not building this for hippies. We're building a solid, reliable corporate platform for the trading of cannabis. And so we went top shelf all the way along. And in addition to that, then when it became time to sort of upgrade what we were doing and really look at the granular details of the marketplace and how much CBD is sold, how much seeds are sold, how much soil is sold, we didn't have that. There were, at that time, there really was, nobody knew. We're talking multi-billion-dollar industry. Nobody has any clue of what the totals were.
Wow.
So I had called BDS Analytics. BDS are the people who do the Power of the ArcView report. Tom Adams, who's quoted in the Motley Fool, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. I said to Tom, look, I'd like you to build my business plan because you're the only person that has those numbers.
Yeah.
He said, we're just getting in those numbers from Canada, the P&Ls from Canada, so I can provide you with what you'd like. I said, okay, well, here's what I'm doing. I'd like you to, model out what we're doing. I said, well, listen, he quoted me a price, and he said, do you have any hesitations? And I'm like, well, my only hesitation is I'm going to write you this big check, and you're going to come back to me and say my business isn't worth a nickel.
Right. That could not be a fun day.
Right. But fortunately, as it turned out, as we dug into what we're doing, we started really examining the marketplace. We saw how really immense the market is, how strong the demand is for digital infrastructure. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry with zero digital infrastructure, right?
In 2018.
In 2018. Right. So I don't feel like I'm disrupting anything.
Yeah.
I'm not building anything new. Yeah. I don't feel like an internet entrepreneur per se. Yeah. I'm building an e-commerce engine in 2018.
Yeah. Just ironing out wrinkles.
Right. The only difference is I'm building it for the one multi-billion-dollar industry that I'd yet to implement it. And so they came along and they said, look, over a 5-year period, your free cash flow we're projecting ought to be somewhere around 210 or something like that. Then when you discount it, right? So if we discount that number because we're pre-revenue 30%, we come up with about 187 million as a real valuation.
Sure.
And we're very happy with that.
Yeah.
So we've built the software. We're now able to add the vendors in. And what we're doing is sort of starting the marketing program to let the vendors know that they can add in products right now, CanIdeal.com.
We'll give you another chance.
Okay.
That's okay.
And that will be opening our doors fully in mid-January.
That's amazing.
Yeah, in 22 states across the country.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, we're really happy about it.
It's very exciting, especially only in 2 years.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the response.
I feel like the luckiest guy alive.
Yeah.
Every time I walk into a marijuana store, or I talk to a vendor, or I talk to somebody that's making an extraction system, or the latest technology in picking, and I say, would you use a platform like? Of course, or somebody that has 5 labs, right? Yeah. Like, of course we want to list on your site, of course. Yeah. Because we only take 2.5% of the sale that we bring to you. So you can go to sleep, you can wake up in the morning, and you can have orders. Right? And those orders are not written down on an old sheet of paper, the scrap of an envelope, like it used to be. Yeah. Right? These are orders from licensed facilities that would like to purchase your licensed product. The money's going to get escrowed so that when you send it, you know you're safe. Right? The product will get delivered by a licensed driver. so that the delivery, the purchaser can see the product coming in from a GPS until right to the point of delivery where they sign for the product and they receive the product, and life is a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right? We release the funds once they're satisfied, and what we have is then a real marketplace that's actually scalable. Right?
We can track all that data too, right?
And we can track all the data.
That's a beautiful thing.
Right, and report that back to the state so that they don't have to worry about doing all of the books. They can pull a report at the end of the year instead of going through scraps of paper or having some harried bookkeeper doing all of that, which is just a nightmare.
So when's your plan to go public so I can invest in this?
Right now, we have a private offering that we're doing. We're doing a private placement, and that can be found at invest.canideal.com. And we'll be addressing going public soon, when the time is right.
Great.
2/4 of revenue, and that 187 may be going a little bit higher, and that might be the time to go public.
Yeah, certainly.
But right now, we're open to individual accredited investors and family offices.
Great. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So give me one more time where we can find information about CanIdeal.
Invest.canideal.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Hey, Joseph, great chatting with you. Thank
Great
you for
chatting with
everything.
you. Thank you very much.
CanIdeal.com.